Hey guys, it's Alyssa from So English. I'm super glad that you could join me in this video today. This video we're going to be talking about grading between sizes. So this is a really important thing today. I think it's going to be something that we use probably the most commonly when we print out patterns and make our own clothing, because most of us are not a straight size, which is pretty much why we make our own clothes, because everything in the right to wear industry is a straight size. So blending and mashing sizes is a great skill to have when you are deciding to make your own clothing. So some things I'm going to talk about why it's a good idea to blend between sizes. So one of the things I always see, or I always felt like, was especially with knit fabrics, the importance of blending sizes was still really important. Even though knit gives you a little bit of a give, it gives you a little bit of a wiggle room in there so that maybe it's a little tight in some areas or whatever, you still want to be able to blend sizes for the right size that you are. Because otherwise you're stretching the fabric a little bit too much, or maybe it's just not fitting you quite right, or things like that. When you have a garment that is made exactly to your measurements and it is blended exactly to your body type, you feel like $1,000,000 in it. And so that's a really important reason that you want to be able to blend your sizes into the exact size that you need for your body type. Another really good thing is if you're like me, I'm kind of a funny disproportionate in a way on top. I have a really small bust line, but my waist and my hips are much bigger in terms of sizing. So most of the time my bust always falls into extra small, depending on the size, maybe a small, but most of the time it's an extra small. Well, my waist and my hips are almost always a small or a medium. So for me, it was always kind of this hard struggle when I was buying clothes, because if I bought something that fit in my stomach where it wasn't too pulled against it, then it was just kind of baggy up top. It kind of just hung on me kind of funny. And if I bought something that was more fitted on top, then it was just really fitted everywhere else and not in a flattering way for my personal taste. And so when I started making my own clothing, it was really important for me to finally figure out how to blend and make a shirt that fit me in all the right ways, where it looked really nice, it laid on me nice, the fabric wasn't being too pulled, or it wasn't hung on me or anything like that. So all of those reasons are really important and just are going to make you feel so much better about yourself when you learn how to blend between sizes. So that's kind of why I'm really passionate about just figuring that out and being able to share that with you and how I do that. So like I said, we're going to be covering that today in our video. So some things that you might want to think about, some things that I've personally experienced, maybe you haven't, that's totally fine. If you have a way that you do and you really like it and it works for you, then you keep doing that. This is the way that I have found and kind of looked around, and this is the way that I really like doing it through my experience. So I'm just kind of imparting some wisdom that I have found onto you guys. So that's just putting that out there for you. So in my personal experience, when you are grading between sizes, I try to steer clear of grading between more than 3 sizes. When I've gone into where I'm grading between 4 sizes, like an extra small all the way to say a large, it gets a little wonky in there because you're losing the shapes of the pattern. So I try to stay within 3 sizes, which is what I did for this shirt that I'm going to be showing you in a minute. This shirt is graded between 3 sizes. It's graded between an extra small, a small, and a medium. So for me personally, anytime I've ever tried to go more than that, it hasn't been exactly what I loved about it. So what I recommend for you, if you're needing to grade between more than 3 sizes, I would take a look at the pattern and see what it is about it. Because maybe if you're going between more than 3 sizes for your bust, because your bust is so much bigger, maybe you need to be doing a full bust adjustment, which Alexis is going to do later on this week. So maybe that's kind of what you're going through. Maybe it's not just grading between sizes. Maybe it's more, I need to do that. So kind of some things to think about if you're seeing yourself needing to go into more of those sizes. One thing that we're going to be looking at today is I'm personally going to be doing on my pattern small to large, but you would be doing exactly the same thing if you needed to go from large to small. You would just be doing it the opposite way, just so you guys know. So that's just personally what I'm doing in my video today, because I do not have to go from large because I've never been large up here. So hopefully you guys really enjoy this video. I'm super excited to get started with you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, here we are. We're gonna start off with our blending sizes video. So I chose this shirt specifically because in this shirt I actually fit between 3 of the different sizes for my measurements. So I felt like that was a really good video, or a really good pattern to choose to kind of show you how I blend the sizes with it. So when you are printing out your pattern, you want to do all of your measurements first so you know which sizes you need to print. Once you've done that, I've actually jotted mine down over on the side of the pattern over here. So my measurements, I am a extra small to an extra extra small in the bust area. I am a small in my waist and a medium in my hips. So I printed out all 3 of those sizes for mine. So when you are starting to do your kind of blending your sizes, it's really, really important. You want a really nice flow when you're doing that. I know it seems like you really want to, or it would be the easiest to just kind of take a diagonal line and just go right on down like that. And sometimes that may work, but for the most part, you're gonna have a really sharp contrast to it, and you're really not gonna give it the right flow that it needs. Depending on which way you're going, maybe you're going from small to bigger, or maybe from bigger to small, you're gonna be doing the same thing, just opposite ways. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. If, for instance, I needed a medium on my bust, but maybe I needed a small in my waist, I don't want to just draw a sharp line like this. Because what happens now is in my bust area, I really don't have the medium. I've drawn that line so drastically that the bust still doesn't have that medium. So you're going to want to make a nice gradual line that's going to meet up to that medium or to that small waist. So I'm going to show you how I would do mine going the opposite way from smaller to the bigger. So I definitely need the small in the bust area, so I'm not actually going to start grading it until more in here, because I know that for my waist I need to be here. So I'm going to kind of draw a little line right there. I know that I need to be in that small area for my waist down in there. So from there, I kind of like to start mimicking this curve that the pattern has given me. Sometimes I'll do this over and over until I find a line that I really, really like. So there's a start to one. I still don't kind of like up here, so I'm gonna go maybe a little bit more like this. Because like I said, you want it to be a really nice, natural flow to it. I think I'm liking that one more. So once I finally have a line that I really like, I'm gonna erase the other lines so I'm not confused by them. So kind of can start here. Even maybe a little bit less. Like in there. That's why you should always do this with pencil. Always, always, always. I can mess with it as many times as I need to. That way and not have to worry about it. So I'm liking that line a lot. I could maybe even go a little bit more. But for the most part, I think this is the line I'm gonna go with. Because I'm at my medium for my waist still, but in my bust area, I'm still at that nice, the extra small on here. So once I've done that, I need to get to a medium in my hips area, which is down here. I'm gonna pull it up so you can see it a little bit better, which is down here. Now, as you can see, the medium's a little bit longer. For myself, I am totally fine with that, so I'm gonna leave that length right there. because I like my shirts a little bit longer. But if you didn't, if you wanted your shirt to be a little bit shorter, what I would do is kind of take this line to right here. So then I knew I had to stop it up there. Or even if you wanted it a little bit shorter than that at this small line. That's totally up to you because you have to take into consideration up by your shoulders. Let me pull that down for you. They are in different spots as well. So you need to take that into consideration. But for me, I am perfectly fine with this line down here. I'm gonna use the medium line for my length. So I'm gonna leave that. So now what I need to do, let me pull that down for you so you can see it. Yeah, okay. What I'm gonna do is now I need to get this medium to my, I need to get this small to my medium hips. So what I'm gonna do, again, I'm just gonna kind of play with it a little bit. So I like that this is in here, and this needs to go from down here. So maybe I'll just kind of sketch a little bit. Maybe up a little bit higher too. Kind of like that. And see, this is something you can just kind of play with. Because I still want to have that nice curve. I don't want to have anything too drastic with it. So I'm thinking I like that. So once you've done that, now is a good time to kind of step back, and you can even make that line a little bit darker if you want to look at it for yourself. I gotta draw over that tape. Sometimes it really doesn't want to go over that tape. Okay, so now is a really good time for me to kind of step back and take a look at it. Take a look at my pattern. Get that in focus for you. And I'm gonna look at and see if I feel like that shape is a good shape still. I really like the shape still. I think it's kind of mirroring that similar shape that I had to begin with, so I feel like I'm in a good place. That's a really good thing to do because sometimes after I'm blending my sizes, I kind of take a step back and look at it and I'm like, whoa, that's not the shape I'm going for. That's not quite what I want. So this is a good time to kind of step back and look at that. So once I've done that, I really like this curve to it, and I think that's what I'm going to stay with for this one. You need to remember to do the same thing on the back of your shirt. That's so important because if we don't do that, you're doing two totally different things. That's just super important to remember when you're blending between sizes like that. Sometimes I will cut this on out and I will kind of lay it on top of my other pattern piece and kind of mimic that angle a little bit more. Sometimes that works, sometimes I just kind of go off of it by my eye too. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm going to cut this out actually and show you how I would mirror that on the back, just kind of an easier way to do it for myself. So once I cut this out, I will be right back with you. Okay, so here we are back to the back side of our pattern, kind of mashing between sizes. This is how I easily mirror when I mash between sizes so that they're relatively the same. So like I said, I cut out my new pattern right here. I'm going to take it and lay it on top of this one and mirror it. So I'm gonna line up at the shoulders is where I like to line it up because I know that those need to meet up. I know that you're gonna have a gap in the front over here. If you can see that, that's totally okay. I'm gonna line it up with those shoulders. And as you can see, it lines up with the bottom too. Just like that. So then what I'm gonna do is I kind of just do a quick like that. Pull that away. And now you can kind of take a look at it for yourself. Either make that line a little bit darker, kind of mess with it a little bit. But for the most part, it's gonna be the same exact line. I always have a hard time writing on tape. There you go. So there, with the exception of my line in here with my tape, let's see if I can mark that a little bit more for you. No, it's gonna be as dark as it gets. So as you can see, here I'll zoom in for you to kind of look at that. There we go. So as you can see, that's my new line for when I'm mashing between sizes. So one thing that's really important to remember when you are cutting out your neckband and your sleeves, you need to cut out the size that is up here. So I need to cut out my extra small sleeves and my extra small neckband because that is what this is measuring. It's not measuring a medium or a small down here. It's measuring whatever your mashed size is up here. That's something really important to remember. Every once in a while I kind of forget that and I start trying to mash the sleeve sizes and then I'm like, oh no, I need to just cut out that size. So that's something to avoid in the future if you're ever like me. So hopefully this video was really helpful for you, kind of learning how to go between the sizes and everything. Hopefully it'll be a really great thing and a really good tool for you to use later on. So hopefully you guys have a really great rest of your day. See you later, guys.